Hello, everybody, and welcome to TC New Tech. This is June already. Can you believe that? That is wild how fast this year is going. We have a fantastic lineup for tonight. We've got 4 contestants coming in from all over the state, as per usual lately. I'm Chris Nesbitt. I am the event director here at TC New Tech, and I'll be taking you through our event tonight. So, without too much ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So first things first, if you haven't checked in yet, please do so. You can do that by scanning this QR code or visiting app.tcnewtech.org. You will need to log in order to vote for the winner tonight, and that all happens right on your phone. We also have a few other features in there that are really handy. You can make donations, you can stay apprised of all the things that are going on with TC New Tech, and we can get a hold of you, let you know that the next event is coming up so we don't miss any. Also want to make sure that everybody's cell phones are silenced. We don't want to hear that in the middle of a presentation. It's very disruptive for the pitch contestants. We would rather hear something more akin to that, even though it's still annoying. But we don't want you to turn your cell phones off because we do want a little bit of help with social media and voting, of course, but social media is important. If you take any photos tonight, any video, if you check in, please make sure that you tag us and any of the pitch contestants. A lot of them have social media followings that would benefit seeing what we're doing up here in Traverse City. So if you can do that and help us out, it would be really appreciated. So let's take a look at the schedule for this evening. We're going to start off with a check-in with Bill Palladino and the board of directors of TC New Tech. He's going to talk to us about why TC New Tech is important. We're going to have a little surprise after that, and then 20 Fathoms update. Eric Roberts is going to come up and give us an update about that. We'll get into the pitches. We'll also be checking in with, this is actually Traverse Connect. That did change, but we'll be having an update from them, and then it gets into the audience vote and PSAs. A little note about the PSAs, we do have 2 microphones in the aisles there. You can give a 30-second public announcement from those while we're voting, and just line up and you'll be able to talk to the room, and then once we're all done with that, we'll get into awards and sponsors. So, without too much wait here, I'm going to try and mix up the language a little bit while I'm on stage. If we could have Bill Palladino come on up, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about why TC New Tech is so important. Come on up, Bill. Run!
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for coming. It's a beautiful summer night in Traverse City, and you showed up. Let's hear it for you. Thank you very much. So TC New Tech, we are here to support and advance the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Northern Michigan. Thank you for coming. And you know I'm usually here to tell you that and also to ask you to show us the money, as it were, to do this work that we do every month. But I have a little story to tell you. How many of you are familiar with the Pour for More program up here in Traverse City? You know what that is? So a bunch of the local breweries have come together, and what they do is they give $1 for every a pint of beer, of their beer that you buy for a certain period of time. And we signed up as a nonprofit organization to be the beneficiaries of that about 1.5 years ago. Well, last quarter, we were one of the crew that was involved. So I want to give a little heads up for our friend Jen Sunko, who used to be the executive director here. She signed us up for that. We were expecting, at best, maybe we get $1,000 or $1,500 for that. Our treasurer, Dan, downstairs, who you met as you walked in the door, he called me a few weeks ago to say, Bill, what the heck is this thing for Pour for More? Do you know those guys? You're going to have to call them. I think they made a mistake. And he sent me a photo of the check, and the check was for $6,500. So if you drink beer at local breweries, thank you very much. That was awesome. Thanks for all those breweries and distilleries and everybody who participates in that for Pour for More. That $6,500 is about 20% of our annual income for TC New Tech. So it's going to make our jobs a little lighter for the next few months here, but we still need your support. So notice on that app, there is that donate button. Please hit it if you can. But thank the local breweries. If you walk into any local brewery here, make sure you thank them for us for participating in that Pour for More program. Thanks for being here. We got a great program tonight. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Bill. And that really was a big surprise to us. I actually just found out about that today with the Pour for More. And that's, again, thank you for that. And kind of along similar lines, we have kind of an interesting announcement tonight. Tonight actually marks 8 years with TC New Tech. I got a text message today with this, Lisa. I see you over there. So Lisa and Russell and several others that are in this room have been part of this organization for a very long time, have put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. So wanted to take an opportunity for a moment and just say thank you to all of you who have been putting all the support in over the years, and we couldn't have done it without you. So, and there's just a few photos of over the years there. If I'm not mistaken, that's actually the building over at Centerpoint. That was where the original meetings used to take place. So pretty neat, pretty neat. So we're going to get rolling here with an update from 20 Fathoms. 20 Fathoms is our biggest sponsor, but also a very important strategic partner for us in our ecosystem. You can come on up. I'm going to bring Eric Roberts up, and he's going to talk to you a little about what's going on over there.
Great, thanks, Chris. How many people are from out of town? How many visitors from out of town here? Raise your hand really high for me if you would. Cool. Where's John and Kevin? Raise your hand. There they are over there. Had a meeting with those guys this afternoon up from Ann Arbor. Say hi to them. Greet them before you go. Pretty cool guys. They're trying to do some really cool things up here. So a couple of really quick updates from 20 Fathoms. First of all, congratulations. Thank you to everybody who participated in and set up and did the work for Startup Week. Extremely successful. It was about 3 weeks ago, I think now. I was blown away by how many folks came from out of town to those events. We had our expo event, we had 5 different universities at our expo event, and all week long, everything I went to were tons of people from out of town who paid the money to stay here overnight for a couple of nights to be with us. A number of universities brought their students with them, paid for them to be here for a few days. So the momentum of that week is really growing. I had really hoped to get the number of participants. I know it was a lot bigger this year than last year. So really, really huge tribute to how far we've come and how far we've continued to build. Second one is, you've heard me say over and over again, there's an organization out in Vermont who helps us called CORI, Center on Rural Innovation. The week before that, CORI has 37 rural networks around the country. They all do technology-based rural economic development. So there are people, 37 network rural communities in the country, and they picked us to have their national summit. That was the week before. It was really cool. It was sadly, it was snowing sideways. The first day that they were here, where they were excited about coming to Traverse City. By the end, we were out at Bonobo. We had an event. We did a tour of the whole thing. We're outside. My favorite line of the entire week was, "Wow, you guys have a winery here." It was awesome, right? And so, but they were blown away by the resources we have, how much they all would love to live here. And it's honestly what was cool to me as I looked around the room. We were all learning things from each other, but we were the envy of that room. The fact that Traverse City, you have no idea if you get out to other rural communities what we have for resources here across the board. We got that back from them. We did a panel where several folks from 20 Fathoms got to highlight our stories and what's going on. And they were blown away by the good work that we're doing. So anyway, we stack up pretty well against other rural communities as well. So that's cool. Business Essentials, a class that Carrie Amlott, she's not here tonight, has been tirelessly working on for over a year. It's a 9-week session. The graduates are done this coming Wednesday. That's tomorrow night. A graduation, a closing ceremony. That thing's been really, really successful. It's again aimed at very early stage entrepreneurs. I have a super amazing idea in a napkin, but I don't know what to do with it. That's what we set that up for. Lots of volunteers to come and help teach what they know about it. So very successful. It's a pilot run for us. You're going to see more of it. I think we had 11 people in the class. So that was really awesome. And lastly, just because it's about momentum tonight, I looked at my number a year ago. We had set an all-time record for membership at 20 Fathoms last June at 106. And I talked to Maria this week, and we're at 133 right now. So the momentum for our ecosystem, thank you. Yeah, the momentum is continuing to grow. There's a lot of excitement. It says a lot about what we're doing. It says that we're doing the right things. That's across town, not just 20 Fathoms, but the whole ecosystem. So kudos to all of you, and thank you.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you, 20 Fathoms. Okay, so first up, we have some pitches, and our first one is going to be virtual. So if you're going to give me just a minute, we're going to bring on Deep View, Nicholas Zimic, and they have an AI product. It's going to blow your mind. So give me just a few minutes to get this queued up here.
Hi, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so here, my name is Nick Zimic with Deep View. I'm actually calling you out of our Vision Lab today. This is our software, Rob, who's working on requirements right now. Right now, we have 15 cameras ready deployed at our customer sites. Deep View, we are creating the world's most advanced vision AI. Right now, this is our system right now. We're always making modifications, but this is what it looks like. So let's get started. Thank you for having me. So right now we're looking at problems right now with Vision AI. A lot of it is slow, expensive, and insecure. A lot of the requirements that we're working on right now with vision systems that they see fit requires a lot of subscriptions and cloud. Ours is all built into the camera. It's all built in right here on the server. There's no server. So we're looking at getting to customers that don't have a subscription. Are looking for no subscription costs and everything else. So it's very, right now we're experiencing vision systems that are slow, expensive, and insecure. Where ours is fast. All you need is about 40 images. It's set up within minutes. It's affordable, about 12,500 with modifications, with trial production trials, runs around 15,000, no subscription costs. And it's all secure. It's not on a server in China or like in Los Angeles or anything like that. It's all built in with this library. It's got 1 terabyte drive. It can store about 1 million images. And so it's an all-in-one deep learning camera. And so our 4 main benchmarks that we're looking for working with our customers is molded plastics, metal components, surface classification, and weld quality. And so when we're working with our customers, we really want to make sure that we're listening to our customers, figuring out what their customers, figuring out what their applications are and tailoring it to their needs. So right now we're working closely with 2 distributors, Industrial Control, if you guys are familiar with there in Grand Rapids, if you guys are there in Traverse City, and then Thorpe Controls as well. And we're working on distribution there in Asia. So I'm filling in for my brother, Eliyahu Davis. We started our company back in actually 2019. We started another company in 2016, which was a recruiting and staffing company. And so I'm really helping them out in vision sales. And so creating our product around our customer base. So right now, our camera is roughly around 12,500 with all the bells and whistles at around 15,000. And it's factory AI cameras. What we're really trying to do is really trying to capture all the vision and image library, and then eventually having it even to put into vehicles, testing mobility and autonomy with our AI camera. So the market potential right now, we're penetrating a $20 billion their market space for machine vision. And then for the autonomy and for e-mobility, it's about 2 trillion, almost infinite. And so why now? Right now with our technology, we're seeing a lot of buzz with AI, especially with like language models like ChatGPT. And so we're really just trying to really get in part of the automation 4.0. And so we just see a lot of opportunity here with AI. And as mentioned, it's all in one. We're looking for something that's a very fast and easy solution. All our cameras are made here in Michigan with a built-in GPU, CPU, 1 terabyte drive. We're realistically able to look at 200 parts per minute with storing about 1 million images on board the camera. So it's fast, it's reliable, it's high speed, it's secure and affordable, all built here around the automotive supplier base. And that's us, Deep View, the machine vision AI.
Wow, you ran through that just about perfectly. You got about 44 seconds left, so we'll open the floor up to Q&A. Does anybody have any questions for Nick over at Deep View? Any questions? Okay, this one right here. Okay, so the question was, he noticed that you had the machines in an injection molding site, but that the camera is designed to identify flaws, and then what happens after the flaw is identified?
Yeah, so with our camera being connected, there isn't a slide for our user interface. So basically, our camera is built for production. There's two modules that's sent for training, and then for deploying, which is set for production. So when working with plastic fabricators, they have either their part quality control inspectors or their quality engineering team being able to use this camera. And so this camera would be placed and deployed in either a stationary work cell, or if it's on a conveyor moving parts. So I hope that answers your question. It'd be looking for defects. And so walking through, if I had it set up, I would show you and walk you through and do a quick demo. And so I can actually run you through a quick demo. The best way, that would be the best way to show you, to answer your question. I would want to show you.
Oh. So he's asking what happens when it finds the defect.
Yeah, so it would come up and flash red. It would alert the engineer that it's a bad part. It would look for defects. So it would take about 40 images. We would need parts getting sent to our lab, depending on what the part is. And then we'd be able to look for those defects. And so if it's pass or fail or good or bad.
Okay. So I'm going to try and summarize that. So it sounded like, when you typically have gone after large markets, but you're trying to capture a large piece, or that you're just trying to capture a small piece of a large market, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
The opportunity is nebulous. It goes nowhere, is what he says.
Yeah, so I mean, we're in the backyard. We're here in Auburn Hills. I'm actually here on site at backyard of Oakland University's campus, where they've thankfully so grateful to where they've allowed us to lease some office space. So yeah, I mean, like right down the street, we have Stellantis. Basically, our camera is geared towards that supply base. So working closely with the OEMs and the tier one base. So yeah, it would be starting off with the lowest hanging fruit, which would be the automotive market here. And then we've gone down to fabrics, which we have a customer there in Western Michigan, and then rubber parts manufacturers. So we're really starting off with what our backyard is, which is automotive, and then branching out to agnostic markets as well, let alone automotive. But we're about 30% automotive right now.
I saw another question over here. He answered it. Okay, and we got one more question. Great question. So, what are you currently funded for, and what is your ask here at TC Tech?
Right. So we're right now recently asking for funding, obviously, since we're here. But I would say we're looking to start. We're working with investors at 2 million as far as starting off for funding. And I can't really give a name as far as like the number of what that would be. But realistically, we're looking for a partner or investor that really truly understands our values and working with the customer. And wrapping around their requirements with our AI vision system. So it's kind of like a half answered question for you. So I apologize there. Really looking for just a good, solid partner or investor that can work with us around our vision system to make it the best vision product for our customers.
Okay. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, if we could give Nick over at Deep View a big round of applause. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
I'm going to get us back to our other regular scheduled program here. Is it showing up the right way? We good, Josh? Okay. All right. And so moving on here, we have Travers Vanco, and it is Dara Geckel. Okay, sorry, we had to work through that one. Here you go.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to start by painting a picture for you guys. You're traveling through Glacier National Park and you just passed your top destination, the Grand Prismatic Spring. What are you going to do? The RV's too big, the road's too narrow, and there's not a turnaround spot for another hour and a half. That spot's now in the past. Let me give you another one. You just woke up in a hotel room and you go and you open up the blinds to see the Sunrise Motel. Not the ideal view while you're on vacation. Right now in the Midwest, there are currently no customizable camper van options, which is why I want to paint a prettier picture for you. You just woke up, it's a beautiful Saturday morning, and the sun is shining, the birds are chirping. Outside of your camper van rental window, you see the Mackinac Bridge. That sounds like a perfect morning to me. At Travers Van Co., we combine transportation, lodging, and adventure to give you the road trip of your dreams. We can get you from point A to point Z and allow you to get your Z's at the end of the day while ensuring reliability, efficiency, and comfort in your travels. We also ensure safety and offer a variety of add-ons from trip planning services to a customizable care package for the person you're traveling with, like your spouse. Right now, we're looking at a target market that includes adventurous honeymooners, carefree couples, young and old, young families, and solo and professional travelers like myself. Our market, we can expect, like the camper van rental industry market value comes in at about $356.2 million, and the Midwest has about a population of 69 million residents, and Michigan is also the fourth largest population of campers in the United States, so there's a huge opportunity here. Right now, we are focusing on negotiations with a company that's based out in Arizona for our first van, which they will be renovating for us. That from there, we'll be able to take that blueprint going into next winter and purchasing 2 vans that we'll renovate in-house. We're hoping to have a hard launch by next spring with the soft launch by the end of this summer, which will allow us to work out some kinks. You're probably wondering about competition. Right now, we're the only customizable rental option for camper vans in the Midwest region, and we're the only ones that will offer trip planning services. A lot of these competitors aren't based in Michigan, and they don't offer what we can. If you want that Mackinac Island fudge, we'll make sure that we get it to you, and it's sitting there waiting for you because we're a family business, and we want these trips to be special memories that you hold on to for forever. Finances, we're looking at a base rental of about a 5-night minimum, which will come in at about a $750 start with $150 per night after that. If you decide that you want to do a 2-week or a 3-month or even just 1 month of rentals rather than something a little bit shorter, we'll have base packages that we can work through with that as well. With our team's experience in long-term real estate investing and entrepreneurship, we'll be able to make sure that this business reaches its full potential. I have a degree in marketing and entrepreneurship, and I'm also a full-time photographer, so I'll be focusing on reaching our target market and really customizing that experience so it feels like home when you're with us. My mom, Casey, she will be acting as our CFO with her experience working with long-term real estate finances and management through her current job. My dad has experience in 20 plus years of experience in sales and project managing, so he'll be acting as our CSO. And Hunter is an electrician and has skills in various areas of trade work, so he'll be focusing on that quality control for us to make sure that all of our customers get a quality experience that's consistent and they can count on. With your investment, we'll be able to hit the road. Thank you. Any questions? Go ahead. Basically, with our trip planning services, we're going to work really one-on-one with our clients. What I found being a wedding photographer is that people often get just stuck in like a box and they just have packages to pick from. We want to be able to create an experience that's unique to them and they can make it their own. So we'll help them work through an itinerary if that's something that they'd like to do. And we'll also have like variety of options within the camper van that they'll be able to make it more their own. So if they want like a recipe book in the van, we have one of those. So like that'll give them different camper van options and they'll basically get to go through a checklist to really make the trip their own and without feeling like somebody's like in control of their vacation. Go ahead. That's a great question. Right now, we are looking at it'd be like a car rental basically. So if you were to go through like Hertz or something like that, it's going to be following that kind of guideline. We've looked at Roamly and Progressive Insurance for different insurance options for customers. We did want to include it in our price initially, but ultimately, as what we found working with like talking with other companies similar to ours, like the one that's going to be renovating our first camper van, is that long term it works better to have the customers individually insure themselves. Thank you. That's our plan right now, yes. So basically what our long-term goal is we'd like to have about 10 vans in our fleet. Obviously, as mileage increases, you're not gonna be able to rent those out and ensure that they actually are reliable. So one of our plans for once a van reaches that like maximum mileage limit, what I found is that in the wedding industry, there is a huge need for like lodging after receptions and stuff to decrease the liability with drunk driving. And a lot of properties specific or venues, specifically farm venues, have started building lodges on their properties to decrease that liability. What we would do is partner with different wedding venues and they would rent our camper vans with like through us. And those bridal parties would be able to stay on the property without these owners having to like spend all this extra money building lodging. So that's one avenue. And then we'd also like to expand to Ohio as we have investment opportunities there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, go back. Let me see. I think it's in my appendix. Is the appendix towards the... Okay. Basically, have you ever seen a Ford Transit? So it's like a Ford Transit, and then what the inside would look like, if you think of what an RV is with, at the back, you have like the mattress and everything, and then you have a little kitchenette. So as you walk into the Transit, you're gonna have that sliding door open. As you look off to the back, you're gonna have a mattress there, which can be folded back up into the ceiling to create space if you want walking space, and it'll also have storage underneath. And then you're gonna have a kitchenette, which is gonna be on the opposite wall from the door when you come in. And then we'll also have just like various storage units, and there's gonna be a pull-out compartment underneath the bed, so that way people can like sit in there and eat, and there's optimal storage capacity. Hopefully that helps you. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Yeah.
How many fans do you have to for you to have enough staff for overhead? At what point does it become a bigger model?
Right now, well, right here, I'll kind of touch on this a little bit. So we are looking at like a conservative 50% occupancy rate. If you, and we're primarily going to be in-house. We don't really want, as we grow, we're going to have like different locations, I guess. So it's not going to be scaling up from one location. Our monthly expenses are going to be lower than our monthly income, so we'll have cash flow opportunity there. And sorry. So basically, am I answering your question right? Oh, and I haven't.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much. And okay. So next up, we're going to have a public service announcement or an update from Traverse Connect. Henry Wolf, if you can come up to the stage, and you'll have the stage for a few minutes.
Thanks, Chris. My name is Henry Wolf, and I'm the Director of Government Relations at Traverse Connect. Very excited to present today on a project that Traverse Connect is working on alongside 20 Fathoms, the Discovery Center in Pierre, Northwestern Michigan College, and Michigan Tech. And I should remember to say it's 20 Fathoms, because when I practiced this in front of my wife last night, she said, "Henry, you did great. Just one thing. Who is Tony Fathoms?" So 20 Fathoms, but very excited at this project that has been in the works for a few years. And this is focused on the commercialization of freshwater and marine technologies to make the Grand Traverse region a global hub for freshwater innovation. And one of the most exciting things that starts with is the potential for research and development on autonomous and remote technology. And one thing that I like to say, and I think that we're realizing here in Michigan, is that our maritime commerce industry is so underutilized. We're not doing nearly enough with maritime commerce that we should be. So while the possibilities here are endless, and it remains to be seen what new ideas these researchers are able to come up with, I would hope that we could see some new innovations around autonomous and remote technology that would relate to maritime commerce and bolster our economy that way. And also, when we talk about Great Lakes modeling and data analytics and environmental protection, we hear a lot of talk about the blue water economy and protecting our Great Lakes, but we need to remember that in order to protect our Great Lakes, we need to understand how they work. And some would say right now we understand more about the surface of the moon than we do the floor of our Great Lakes. So by having this opportunity here just down the road with a new freshwater research and innovation center, we would have the resources that we need to provide a means for our local researchers, even those from across the nation, across the globe, to come and test out freshwater technologies as they relate to autonomous and remote technology, as well as environmental protection. You see here the hub of innovation and commercialization, and what we mean by that is once this idea comes to fruition, we will have an opportunity and a platform to give researchers a hands-on means to test out their technology at the new Innovation Center. And then once they have developed a creative new technology with a great purpose, they would have the chance to walk that just across the street to 20 Fathoms and turn that idea into a sustainable business model, creating jobs in the process and protecting our Great Lakes. So there would be research facilities on the water, classrooms. There would be some of this space that is open to the public, so it could be utilized by the public as well as a four-season marine technology lab. We're not just talking about the summer months here. As those of us that are from Traverse City know, we are doing our best to bolster our region as a four seasons destination, not just for tourism, but for our business community as well. So there would be dockage for the research vessels as well, which is really important. And some folks that have been around Traverse City for a long time may remember that the site we're talking about here used to be an old coal dock. They would ship the coal in and then they'd take it right across the street and store it there. And what we are very close to doing is converting what was an old coal dock into a breakthrough research and innovation center that could be known across the nation and across the globe for developing environmental protection technologies. I am extremely proud of the idea that we have come up with and that we're advocating for now to really put the rubber to the road in terms of solidifying Michigan as a blue economy state, what we should be, and leading the way in climate resiliency and planning. We really believe that with an investment that we are now seeking from the state, it is budget season. I know anything can happen, but we feel that we have made great progress in pursuing an investment from our state legislators. Those in the Grand Traverse region have been very helpful on that, and legislators from across the state have heard from me about this idea, and we feel that we've got traction, but we will see when the budget is passed in late June if we're able to get that additional investment. Thankfully, we have already secured $1.6 million from the federal government, in addition to, I believe, $8 million in private fundraising. And we are well on our way to making this vision a reality, and I'm extremely proud of that. So I want to say thank you to Eric Roberts, too, with 20 Fathoms, who has been very helpful on this, and appreciate the opportunity to update everyone on this exciting project.
Thank you very much. It's very exciting what's going on over there, and we've been following that closely here at 20 Fathoms. It's TC New Tech. So let's get back into some pitches here. Thank you, Henry. We're going to bring up Elliot Smith from Mott Mott. Thank you, Elliot.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Elliot Smith. I'm a civil engineer, a municipal engineering consultant, where I serve 24 different communities as their city engineer. And I'm the founder of Mott Mott. So quick show of hands, who here drinks water, brushes their teeth, takes a shower? Okay, we have some down hands, and that's okay. I'm not judging you. Another question for y'all is, who here is feeling pretty confident about the condition of the pipe where that water comes from? Okay, there's no up hands, and that's pretty, oh, there's one, okay. And that's pretty common. You would be in the same boat as my clients. And that's a problem. That's a problem I think we can probably, it's a problem we can fix. And the whole idea behind Mott Mott is to give eyes to authorities and municipalities so they know what the condition of the water pipes are. Our purpose is we're promoting water security, so we can fight against things that we see in Flint, we can fight against things we see in Benton Harbor right now, and the water scarcity issues that we see on the West Coast and Southwest. So aging infrastructure, it's a huge, huge problem. These are all real pipes that have been recently removed. And this is all water. They're all pipes that water goes through to get to your faucet. This is cast iron, it was built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. This is wooden water main built in the 1880s. I've seen it personally. When we have water main breaks, it's a huge, huge deal. Some of them are 8-inch breaks, not that bad. Some of them are 10 feet in diameter. Cost tens of millions of dollars to repair, and typically the communities around them are out without water for 2 to 4 weeks. So how can we get ahead of these problems? Leaks is another big problem. I'm from Detroit. That's where I consult right now. We have about 80 million gallons of water per day that are lost underground just through leaks. So American Society of Civil Engineers, they will go around to every state and they will give you a letter grade, A to F, what your infrastructure looks like, whether it's bridges, highways, drinking water systems. They've given Michigan a D, which means we have significant water concerns as far as funding goes, water quality issues, and potential scarcity problems in the coming decades. Our solution is to employ drones inside a water main, do condition assessment, find the leaks, help map, and then also help manage the assets for the municipalities. And we do this through sonar acoustic technology that already exists. So why now? Public has taken note. We had their issue in Flint, Benton Harbor, and the West Coast, and the government's responding. They just employed a $50 billion infrastructure bill. This is the tip of the iceberg. In the next 20 years, we'll need somewhere in the ballpark about $450 billion, but it's a start. So market opportunity, we have a D. Really where we want to challenge and investigate first is in our communities that need it the most. Traverse City, y'all are actually pretty okay right now, but it doesn't mean you can't use the technology to be proactive in your approach when developing capital improvement projects. Here's our ecosystem. If you guys have any questions, how does Mott Mott fit into the municipal and authority world? Our main targets right here are authorities and municipalities. They already use technology to inspect their pipes, but it's fairly expensive. It's about $210,000 to $200,000 per mile. In Detroit, we have about 12,000 miles. So you do 12,000 times 200,000, you just can't make that work. Mott is able to do it in about $30,000 per mile. And the way we can do that is our scalability. We're able to be in the system 24/7. You don't need to enter and exit the system. And so you can get a lot more done because you don't have to go through permits in the state to do your inspections. Our services, we employ a lot. We're able to map, find the leaks, do the conditions, and also do water quality testing. Go to strategy market. We're leveraging Great Lakes Water Authority and American Water Works Association to get to market in 2025 is when we're going to launch. Right now, we're underneath National Science Foundation and some other accelerators. And our pilot program is really to target those communities that are most in need. So big things start small with the financials. We're not going to make any revenues in 2025, but big things start small, and that's okay. We did the financial projections. We do use a conservative discount rate of 25%. It's a tech company, so that made sense. And then our expected rate of return is about 52.6%. To recap, our revenue is $30,000 per mile. To give an example, our first contract we're looking at is $24.5 million for Great Lakes Water Authority. In Southeast Michigan, there's about 260.5 in contracts available. Total available national market is 2.2 million. So Jim Collins once said, you got to put the right people on the bus. This is my team for the NSF Regional I-Corps program, and we've been kicking a lot of butt. There's two things I want you guys to know. One, drinking water is a big problem right now. And the reason I'm here today, if I can finish this, I'm really looking for a network. We're leveraging federal funds right now through NSF, and I'm looking for a network for future finance rounds. Thank you.
You hold on to that.
I'll take the clicker. All right. Yes, sir, in the front. That's a great question. For the folks that are virtual, the question was, is this a remote controlled vehicle? Is it autonomous or is it tethered? Is a free swimming autonomous drone or UAV? Thank you. Yes, sir. That's a great question. If the opportunity, for the folks that are on virtual, are we going to build this company in Traverse City? Right now, I'm at Michigan State's MBA program, kind of centered there right now. But if the opportunity arises, we would actually be willing to relocate. Yeah. So the question is, what are the pipe sizes? It is a minimum of 8-inch. That's for your distribution line. And in Michigan, our transmission line goes all the way up to 10 feet. And you saw that water main break over by Port Huron last August. That was a 10-foot transmission line. Okay, also a great question. The question was, what kind of flow rates can you accommodate? Water flow within pipes, the velocities differentiate between 1 feet per second to 8 feet per second. It depends on the time of day that you're operating in the system. So in the morning, it's really, really fast because everyone's pulling from the system. At night, it's very slow. So our operations are going to be we could use it to an advantage. For fast flow times, we'd be using that so we don't deter the battery. When it's low peak flow conditions, we'd use that to go back to the charging areas. Yes, sir, in the back. Yeah, it's transverse cracking. The question was, can you find transverse cracking within pipes? The answer to that is not only can you find transverse cracking, you can find pinhole leaks through your sonar acoustic inspection methods. And that already exists within our competitors. Does that answer your question? What's that? Yeah, so our competitor, Xylem, a few slides back, they use a small ball. Okay, all right, yeah, so the answer to that is yes. Yep. Yes, sir, big shirt. Yep. That's a great question. For the folks virtual, what are the costs per mile? The revenue is $30,000. It's a business model reliant on scalability. If we were to do 1 mile, we would not be profitable. If we were to be able to do 816 miles like in Great Lakes Water Authority, it changes. It's a variable cost. Our overhead's variable. our cost to do the inspections variable. So it would be, this is a bad answer, but it'd be dependent on what kind of system that we're inspecting. Yep. Yeah, so the expense for the folks that are virtual, what are the expenses that we'd forecast? The expenses would be installing the drone into the system, permitting costs, engineering costs, and then also managing the data, because that's a big one, and then uploading it to different communities' GIS systems. And then, yeah, I think that answers. Yes. Gotcha. The question for the folks virtual, what additional services do you do besides inspection? So Geographical Informational Systems, GIS, its own, that's a kind of an online mapping system for all communities, and all the communities are mostly up to date on that. So it shows what has been historically recorded. The service that we provide, it give live updates to what we're seeing. Also, American Water Works Association, they're trying to find ways to combat terrorism within our drinking water supplies. So part of what we would do too is if there's any other pathogens that you wouldn't normally see, we would be able to alert that. In essence, Mont is a technical data company that also does inspection and engineering. Yep. Yes. The question was, state of Texas. Yeah, the state of Texas passed legislation to have water test kits for residents. The way that we operate would be able to do live time water quality testing. So residents would still be able to test their water, but we could also test the water, look at parts per million, and then relay that to either Eagle or the EPA if we see anything that's out of compliance. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, he's going to fast forward through his appendix here, and we're going to bring up our next pitch contestant, which is Mark Alexander, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about light tuition, which I'm actually really excited about. Come on up, Mark.
In 2009, someone gifted me with an anonymous $16,000 to pay for my last year of college, with the one request that I pay this gift forward. My name is Mark Alexander, founder and CEO of Light Tuition, the only platform that lets students raise money for tuition that's sent directly to their school without the burden of debt. Meet Lisa, a real-life student. In 2018, Lisa's bankruptcy documents listed how much she had sent to Sallie Mae over the years. After 160 checks of $700 or more, she had paid just over $135,000. Roughly $100,000 went towards interest, patent the profits of Sallie Mae. Her balance now sat at just over $96,000. And the fact that she was going through breast cancer treatment wasn't sufficient enough to remove her debt. This is just one of the numerous burdens that we're looking to address. Our current educational system has $1.6 trillion in climbing and outstanding student loan debt, with 3.9 million students with loans with no degrees. Compared to other educational systems, ours is difficult to navigate, with access to resources being limited to many. With over 1.5 million students in 303 colleges and universities in Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana alone, Light Tuition is a platform ready for all schools, students, and organizations. We provide an end-to-end solution where transactions are processed through our custom-built platform, stored and protected by financial institutions prior to being dispersed to schools. Light Tuition allows students around the world to raise money for their tuition that is immediately sent to their school without the burden of debt. They can easily create their campaign, share with supporters around the world, and immediately start raising funds. And also, we allow organizations, businesses, and schools of all sizes to leverage our custom-built white label fundraising software to have their own unique fundraising software within their organizations for a low monthly cost. At Light Tuition, we make signing in and signing up simple. Students can easily create their unique account, create their campaign, and launch all in the same day. And just as easy as it is to create a campaign, it is even easier to support one. Supporters can find an amazing students on our platform, leave an inspirational message, and contribute to the educational cause. Unlike our competition, we send funds raised directly to the school versus the students' pockets. And we also allow organizations of all sizes to white label our fundraising software for our B2B service. We currently increase our users through our platform and mobile app, build strategic relationships with public schools and private schools, as well as local nonprofits, businesses, and organizations. We make money by leveraging 5 cents per dollar through our platform, licensing and subscribing our fundraising software for a low monthly cost, as well as add-ons for more access on our platform. Our team has over 20 plus years of experience in education, entrepreneurship, business, leadership roles, data analytics, as well as an advisory team that amplifies our knowledge, experience, and scaling potential. Our traction includes strategic partnerships with organizations such as Detroit Pistons, over 500 users on our platform, over 200,000 already sent to students around the country, and amazing organizations that's currently leveraging our B2B software. Our ask, as we get ready to kick off our $1 million pre-seed round, we're looking to raise funds to increase our B2B pipeline, increase our subscriptions, as well as users on our platform as we go on to raise our first seed round in 2025. And we have already secured over 24 subscriptions for our B2B software. To learn more, please visit us at www.lighttuition.com today. Thank you. Any questions at this time? Right there in the back. Absolutely. So for the amazing listeners online, the question was, if a student has an open house and does not have a college selected, can they hold on to those funds? And the question is absolutely yes. So what we realize as entrepreneurs, we have to be willing to pivot. So we originally started off as focusing just on post-secondary school, but as we looked at the customer journey and roadmap, we identified a tremendous amount of pain points. So not only can you raise money just for education when it's at the collegiate level, but as early as pre-K. So we have a young lady already that is 5 years old that has already raised over $8,000 for future education. Now here's a unique caveat. That money can then be used for private, public, K-12 education, trade school, certification, or post-secondary education. So yes, even if they don't have a school selected, they can start raising funds now that can be used for years down the road.
And then they transfer to another school. How do those funds then get switched over to the new institution?
Absolutely. So for the users at home, the question was, if the student raises a significant amount of funding and they switch schools, how's that money dispersed? So our process, before we disperse money, the students have to fill out what we call an enrollment verification form, where we get their student ID, their school address, and their date of birth. That's the only information we ask for when we reach out to the school to, one, verify their enrollment. So if they do transfer, before we disperse that check, we make sure we got that new school's information, that the money is sent in care of the student, because of course, if you send $20,000 or $60,000 to a student, 9 times out of 10, it would not reach that student's tuition. So it's sent directly to that school. Now, to add on to that, here's the caveat. If the student is not enrolled in school at the close of their campaign, that money is sent back to the contributors, because we want to make sure anyone giving on our platform has that peace of mind that your money is going to reach that student's tuition and not their pocket. Had a question back here, and then we go over there. Absolutely. So the question is, can we add more on just outside tuition? So the name, of course, Light Tuition, and what we realized as we started to expand and work with different organizations and schools is we do not have limits on what that money can be used for. Because you have some amazing students that have their tuition paid off with scholarships, but they still have to pay for books, room and board, and even food. And during my time at the school I went to, there were some amazing students I would never see in the cafeteria because they couldn't afford it. So we do not want any level of finances to get in the way of someone's education. Because think how hard it is to study, focus, or take a test on an empty stomach. So yes, that money can be used for anything. Right now for our product roadmap, we do have it where they can earmark what they're raising funds for. But right now, that money just says for tuition, but it's sent to be sure to be used for anything at that school.
What are you looking at for the income reporting requirements for the funds flowing to the school on behalf of the student? Do they get some sort of tax document, and does that impact their ability to apply for FAFSA or student support in following years?
Great question. So the question for those at home is, how is it documented for the students to ensure that they're not paying taxes on it? So what we used, and this was a testament to that $16,000 I raised or received as an anonymous gift. By sending it in care of the student with the student ID, the student does not pay taxes. So that money is now earmarked as income to the school system versus some type of liability to the students. Because what we didn't want to do as we tried to alleviate that burden of debt is hurt the amount of money it can then raise. So that is no impact or adverse income to the student by any way. At this current time, no. But here's the unique thing. So we have light tuition as well, and this is where we're really pushing the schools to leverage our software. So say, for instance, if Michigan State had our software using at their college, they can then use that money as a tax deduction because the school is leveraging our software. But as a standalone platform, there's no tax deductions right now, but will be down the line.
So as a student collects this money in their account, does that get accounted for when they apply for financial aid or Pell Grants or some other need-based?
No, and what we found out, because at first we thought it'd be great, but again, that impacts the amount of money it can actually leverage. So we are looked at as that holding company, that liaison that's holding the funds as a liability on our books versus being dispersed. So it has no effect on their FAFSA or anything of that nature. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mark. I think that's a fascinating model. Personally, I wish I'd have known about that during my school years because still paying on that thing. All right, so it is time to vote. It is time for the PSAs. I want to call out a new sponsor that we have. I don't think he's here tonight, but Marty Stevenson has picked up the pitch prize for this month, and as well as August and September, I think, as well. So in order to vote, scan the QR code there. You can also go to app.tcnewtech.org. I just checked it. The poll is open, so you can go ahead and vote. There is a short little questionnaire there included in the voting. Just tells us how we're doing, things that you want to see, whether you want to be in touch with any of the pitch contestants. So take advantage of all of that. And in just a second here, we'll start doing our PSAs. So there we go. Our arrows are up. So if you have any PSAs that you want to make for the next month or so that you want to bring to the attention of the community, come up to the aisles. There's microphones at the end of each aisle. You can make your 30-second PSA. Don't be shy. This is a good way for you to get the word out of anything that's going on in your communities. Okay, well, whoever gets there first, just take turns.
Hi, everyone. I'm John Hoingville from Alpha Django. We're a technology company out of Ann Arbor, and we help early stage startups build their technology startups. If you need some development support, reach out to me. We're always available.
Excellent. Go ahead. And you guys can line up behind the mics too, so it just goes one right after the other.
Hey, my name is Jackson. I go to school with Elliot at MSU, and I'm with StartupRegistry.co. What we do is we connect startups, who are in the pre-seed fundraising stage of development, and we connect them to investors outside of Michigan. So, for instance, we have people at MSU who have, been in the fundraising and development stage for a while, and it's been a struggle because we all have these niche communities where we're able to connect, but oftentimes it's hard to reach the investors and, people who, are ultimately interested in investing in these smaller startups. So we kind of bridge the gap between investors and startups. And if that's something you're interested in, reach out to me. Thanks. Yeah, it's startupregistry.co.
Hi, everyone. My name is Annie Solom. I'm a local brand messaging and strategy consultant. And so a lot of times as a new startup, it's really hard to get your messaging clear and really who you are. You know what you do, you know what you're passionate about, but you don't always know how to articulate that. And that's my passion. So if you need help clarifying your message, I'm happy to help. Thank you.
Excuse me. Hello, my name is Brian Van Voorst. I, like many people in Traverse City, work out of my home. And we have a meetup group for those people who are shut-in, isolated teleworkers at home. We get together once a month, and this way we have virtual outings and happy hours and whatnot. The next one is at Earth and Ales this last Thursday of the month. And if you have somebody, a friend, a family member who is locked inside at their computer and needs to get out, stop by. I'll give you a card and you can join the group or help them join the group. Thank you.
Are you going to
Go for it.
We're good? Hi, everybody. My name's Lisa. I help here at TC Tech, but tonight I'm talking about Access Point Venture. So you'll see my name on the board, and I have a bag full of paydays. So come and find me. And the reason that is that in our company, we know that payroll is not the problem. It's the problem that payroll creates. So as you start your company and you hire new people, get in touch with me. And tonight, if you're interested, I have these paper, or I can send them to you electronically, but 8 steps to successful payroll, a work from home policy, new hire onboarding checklists, owner's guide to recruiting, all the fun stuff that you get to do when you start to pay somebody. So see me if I can be of any value. Thanks.
Okay, do we have any more PSAs, or should I end the voting and announce who won? All right, we're going to end the voting. All righty, just double check here. We would like to invite, actually, we got to do the drum roll first. Yeah, there you go. Do the drum roll, everybody. Pitter patter. Calculating those votes. And again, the pitch prize is brought to you by Marty Stevenson over there, commercial real estate agent. Cell phone's right there. Email's there. Get a hold of him if you're looking for commercial real estate. Thank you, Marty Stevenson. There's the pitch prize, $500. Who's ready? Are we ready? Do we know who it is? Does anybody know who it is? I'd like to invite Mark Alexander up with light tuition. Congratulations, Mark. You want to say anything?
First, I want to say thank you also to the entrepreneurs I had a chance to meet with as well. Early congrats, because the journey is unique and we need ecosystems like this to keep us going. Being on this stage is always an honor and a pleasure. The questions sharpen us. So one thing I've learned, and I share this with a lot of people, you can always call my baby ugly, but just say it has pretty shoes, because I want to make sure my baby is ready for the world as we go on to change student lives, because we don't want schooling to get in the way of their education as we impact people. Thank you, Ann Arbor New Tech, as well, for making this introduction. Thank you, Chris, for the intro we had just to learn more about TC New Tech. And thank you, everybody, for voting for us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And our photographers right here. You can take down there. I'll take a couple with you. All righty. So we have some sponsors that help us make this all happen, guys. And this is a really important piece of the programming that we do. Dualboat is one of our most recent, aside from Marty. They do a fantastic job with their IT services. We've got Creative Coast / Traverse Connect. They've been an amazing ecosystem partner for us. Our goals align very, very well. State Farm has been with us for a really long time. If you're looking for insurance quotes, hit that QR code on the end there. Rios, He's on our board. That's Bill. So he does professional development stuff. And then we've got Profit Clean. So Sarah, they do professional cleaning services. Also been around for a very long time. Thank you, Sarah. And Access Point Professional Services, Lisa. Thank you so much, Lisa. She was up here giving a PSA a little bit ago. Michigan Economic Development Corporation, they just signed on with us this year. Fundamental component of allowing us to do these programs. They've been wonderful. And then, of course, our gold sponsor is 20 Fathoms. We love 20 Fathoms. Thank you, guys. And we also have a lot of in-kind sponsorships, various different things, but the two I want to point out are AK Production and Pro 360. They are running around in the room here tonight. We wouldn't have our live stream or professional photography without them. And then, of course, we have our job board. You can scan the QR code up in the corner there or go to tcnewtech.org/job board. If you have any jobs that you are looking to fill or you are looking for a job yourself, that is a great place to go. It's free to use. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap for June. Tell your friends next month. We do typically meet up at Brew afterwards. We got a little bit of time to mill around here in the lobby and get a drink. And we will see you next month. Thank you.